Hai, hello everyone. Halo, selamat malam. Nama saya Meninaputri Wismurti, kepala program film dari 100% Manusia Film Festival. And tonight we will have a talk with Adolf El Assal, a director from the film that we screened in the film festival last Tuesday, Sawah, and the whole session will be done in English. So if you have questions, just write down directly on the comment below. You can also ask Adolf in Indonesian, and I will help to translate your question to him. And tonight the topic is about how to put a humor actually in human rights, which is quite tricky, I would say tricky to do, because sometimes comedy and humor, sometimes it helps to basically deliver a very important or very serious issue, but on the other part, you don't want to get the audience to be misunderstanding about all the issues or misleading them into something that you probably don't want them um, to receive. So yes, and if you the film itself, it's still available to be watched until Sunday at the festivalscope.com. And why is it that we're going to talk with Adolf is because it's easy. His film is in our festival, and you can still watch his film until Sunday. And now Adolf is joining us. I'm just going to add him so that he can wait. Unfortunately, that's interesting. I There he is.
I think it's working now.
Yes, I think it's okay.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Good to see you.
Right?
Yes. Can you hear me well?
Yes, very well.
Good.
Yeah,
Yes.
all good?
And
Super.
we can, yeah, all good. We can hear also your voice, and it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
So, how are you doing in this winter, apparently?
Here it's a bit colder, I think. Yeah, it's quite cold. It's like the winter has started somehow, and it's very gray outside. I can show you. Look here. And yeah, but we're
Is
also
it
very,
already
very busy.
snowing?
Yes, yeah, we had already some snow. Yes, a little bit, but
Ah,
the
okay.
weather is a bit hotter this year than usually.
It's a little bit colder.
It's cold, but it's usually it's much colder than that. But this year, I don't know, maybe because of COVID and so on, things have
Oh,
changed a little
okay.
bit. So the snow doesn't stay
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, here in Indonesia, I mean, we don't have winter, but we do have a wet season, and it's been raining every day.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
for us, yeah, for us, cold is like 26 degrees.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, that's summer for us.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so yes. Um, Ado, can you introduce yourself? I have already
Hmm.
introduced you to the audience, but probably there are some also audience that just
Hmm.
joining us uh, tonight.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so my name is Adolf El Assal. I'm a filmmaker. I'm film director, producer, and writer. Originally from Egypt, but I grew up in Luxembourg. And I've been working in the film industry for the past, I don't know, 15 years or so. I've been doing a lot of short films
Mm-hmm.
first, and then I did a few features as well. And now my new film, Sawah. I also own my own production company and distribution company here in Luxembourg called Wadi Films. And yeah, so I'm really happy to be here, part of the festival, but to show my film in Indonesia, because I heard actually uh, when I typed once Sawah on Google, it's an Indonesian word, I think.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah, like
Yes, it is actually. Sawah means rice field actually
yeah,
in our. It's very important place in our
hmm,
life as we
yeah,
all here. It's rice is our main staple. So
Yeah.
yes, it's
That's nice.
so so it's quite funny because when the audience find out about the festival's lineup and they saw your film Sawah, they were thinking actually it was Indonesian film
Yeah, really.
instead of Luxembourg.
Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, since you mentioned earlier that you also have your own film distribution company and your film company,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like wondering at this moment, how is it the situation with the film industry in Europe, or especially as you are in Luxembourg right now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like at the moment, yeah, like the past few months were quite tough because a lot of things got postponed. There's new measures that were put in place, so we cannot work as it used to be. Like those times are, I think it's over for some time because it's
Uh-huh.
just quite restrictive. So there's lots of measures like sanitary measures, social distancing, also when we shoot and so on. So because
Mm-hmm.
I just finished shooting a TV series in Belgium. And that was one of the first
Okay.
big projects with those new measures. And so basically, I had to adapt somehow to work in those new conditions and so on. And also to get tested all the time. That's also it's a bit annoying because everyone needs to be tested, like almost like once a week,
Yeah.
and actors every 2 days here, and
Yeah.
so on. So it's quite it's a new challenge, but we're learning as well. So it's getting somewhere. But for myself, I cannot complain too much because I've been quite busy this year. Like it was a very, very good year for us. Like also for my films, I'm still
Mm-hmm.
developing and working on my own projects, and also for my company and so on. So so this it's a new time. It's but for us in Luxembourg, we're lucky because here it's a bit less restrictive, let's say, than other European countries.
Mm-hmm.
Because we depend on other countries basically. Like for us, because we're so small and we're in the middle of Europe. So on one side you have Germany, and the other side France, and then you have Belgium. And without them, like the country doesn't work. Like we cannot close our borders completely, and because there's so many people coming to the country working there, also in the film industry.
Yes.
Okay, so people coming to work, so that's why like the government try to adapt as much as possible, so everyone is happy, and so it's not too restrictive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you have finished the TV series, but also
Yeah.
with a lot of health protocol. But what kind of health protocol that's been done there?
The health protocols is mostly like social distancing, first of all. So we need to find ways because when you're on a film set, everyone's together. Like you have like hundreds of people working together. So there's like new
Oh.
rules. So like for example, makeup or costumes, they're completely separated. So an actor, every actor has his own makeup artist, for example. So
Mm-hmm.
that gives us
Mm-hmm.
some issues. Okay, so budget-wise it goes up, and our costume same thing. Everything separated. Like when we eat together, for example, we cannot sit together on the same tables, or it's all separated by plexiglass and so on. Myself as a director, like I was protected very well, so I couldn't approach many people at the same time.
Mm.
There's also like we have like some sort of COVID agent, so that's like some
Yeah.
new thing that was put in place. So someone who's a bit
Mm-hmm.
specialized who could then check that everything is okay, that people they respect the social distancing and put masks and so on. So those are
Right.
the quite new challenges. And we
Yes.
had a shoot like a few
So
weeks ago. For example, we had to postpone
yeah.
it because one person got tested positive one day before the shoot.
Oh
Okay, so
no.
yeah, so we had to, but it was only one day shoot. It was like an advert, like an advertisement. But
Yeah.
because one person got tested positive, we couldn't do the whole thing, so we had to postpone it like 1 month later. So those are things that you have to live with at the moment.
Yes. Oh, that's
Mhm.
interesting because you mentioned that you have a kind of a person who is in charge, like a kind of agent from the Ministry of Health that
Yeah.
can basically confirm whether your process of shooting can be
Mhm.
done or not, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's something that we could also follow to do here in Indonesia because at this
Mhm.
moment we don't have locked down, like a full or totally
Yeah.
locked down like what you have. Yes, but we have only a kind of semi-lockdown where people can still go out.
Hmm.
So yes,
No, but here's also like
but
it's not completely locked down,
oh,
but we have a curfew,
okay,
just evenings, like curfew from 11 p.m. till 6 a.m. in the morning,
right.
and people cannot come together more than 4 people together, for example. Like even at a workplace,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, like at my office, I tried like all my like we try to avoid to be as many people as like together, and trying to optimize
Mm-hmm.
everything that people can work from home. But it's a bit tough because, like for example, I want to go and visit my family. I cannot visit them. My parents, for example, I cannot visit them because my sister, she just she came over there. She lives she lives in Abu Dhabi in the Emirates, and she came to
Mm-hmm.
visit my parents. So because she's there, we are like no other people can come. So we cannot be together in the same place.
Oh,
Yeah, so those are
okay.
things that we have to adapt at the moment because they announced yesterday that everything will be until the 15th of January. So we still have like one
Yeah,
month like that, and then they will reconsider and see how things will be. But
yeah.
yeah,
But that's the life that we are living at the moment. The
yeah, of
new
course.
normality, so
Yeah, yeah.
called. So yes,
Hmm.
and let's talk about the film itself. So what
Hmm.
was the inspiration for you of making Sawah?
Ooh, the main inspiration is my own life, actually. Like, there's a lot of things in there that's based on my own life. Like my parents, for example, they came by mistake to Luxembourg, so that was the main idea. Like, they wanted to go to Brussels, but the train stopped in Luxembourg, and they never heard of this place before. Okay, and then they stayed there, and they started a new life. And I myself, I was a DJ also a long time ago. This like all the languages that are spoken in there, that's our daily life here. We speak so many different languages in Luxembourg, so that's for us it's very normal. The father who's playing in the film is my own father as well.
Oh,
Yeah, so and yeah, so there were so many things that I was able to put there together, and that was like my main inspiration. Like it's life basically.
so you directly just written down your own quote unquote diary and then making it as a
Yeah,
film.
yeah. Okay, of course,
And
not everything
and
is happy and so on, but I try to be a very positive person. But
yes,
that's my name. That's the most honest way to tell a story. It's your own experiences because you know how to tell it. Okay.
true. And I think
Mm.
it is shown quite good in your film, like all the necessities and all the honesty,
Hmm.
even basically all
Yeah.
the humor. Even it's a little bit like a kind of dark and sarcastic in a way,
Hmm.
but still.
Yeah, but that's my life. That's how it is. That's how I see life, and I enjoy it like that. Like trying to be critical, but at the same time to be light and to not to, like trying to know where the limits are. In order not to offend too many people, but I still know how to tell my story. So that's the way how I've been always working.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then since this is also like you mentioned, this is based basically on your real life story. Were
Hmm.
there like any parts of the film that is not based on your real life story?
That's a good question, actually. The very first time that someone asked me that. Let me think. No, it's yeah. I was never arrested as like being considered as a refugee, but I had a similar situation one day.
Oh,
Okay, where one day like I went to England to the UK. I took a bus
yeah.
from Luxembourg to the UK, and because UK is not part of the Schengen Treaty, and if you know the Schengen, okay, so you need to have a visa or a European passport to go there. So
Hmm.
so I went there at the border. I showed my Luxembourgish passport, and the police like the border officer, he didn't believe that my passport was real. He told me it was fake. Okay, and I was arguing with him. I said, no, it's real, and I'm from Luxembourg because my name and so on. It's a very funny story. Like someone called Adolf El Assal, so and born in Egypt with a Luxembourg passport, so it can be a bit suspicious. And while I was arguing
Yeah.
with the guy, I was telling him the story because I was meant to go to a festival in England. They invited me to go there to a festival, but then suddenly in front of me, like the bus leaves with all of my things, like. And And the border police officer
So it's
told
just,
them like, yeah, so like in the film, like that's so that
oh my
inspired
God.
me. But then it had a small happy ending. I told the border officer, I told him, now, like look me up on Google or whatever, you will find that it's me. There's not two people like that. Okay, and they figured that out, and then they took me into their car, like in a police car, and then put the blue lights, and they ran on the highway behind the bus to stop it, so I could like reading the movies.
That,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
that sounds like a quite a chase, like
yeah,
a in the Hollywood kind of action film, like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
trying to catch that bus.
Yeah, so they caught the bus, and then I entered the bus, and everyone was looking at me really weirdly, and so on. But everything was still there. I was happy that at least my bag was there because I had all of my films and everything was on there. It was my life in that bag. Like if I'd lost it, I would be very depressed.
Yes, especially if you're a DJ and all of your equipment are in there.
No, of course, of course.
Yeah, that's quite a funny one, actually.
Mhm.
So,
So,
but then you also mentioned that you casted your own father.
mhm.
How does it feel to direct him?
Like I should actually thank him because without him we couldn't get the whole funding. Because
You
because
cannot
here,
get the whole funding?
yeah, okay. Because the thing is, here in Luxembourg, we get a lot of public investment in films. So we
Ah,
have like public agencies governed by from the government, but they invest in movies,
mhm,
and they have like a point system. So you need like specific things like actors, locations, technicians, story, language. So there's a point system, and if you have a certain amount of points, you get money.
mhm.
And we were missing a few points, and I didn't know where to fit them because I had almost everything. And then I was meant to have another actor to play the part, but he was a very famous Egyptian actor. But then he had no time to play. But then I said, like, what could I do? And then one day I went to my parents' place, and I was just having dinner with them, and I saw my father. And then I asked myself, like, why not? Maybe he could play it. And because he's from Luxembourg, okay. I said, okay, like, why not? Let's do it. So I sent him to do an audition, like a casting, and I was there with my producers as well. And when my father he played in a very in a way he didn't because he's not an actor. He's really not an actor. He's never acted. And then he became so real what he was saying that my
Uh-huh.
producers they were crying. They couldn't understand what he was saying, but they saw the emotions, how he was telling things, and myself as well because our relationship it wasn't the best relationship. Let's say it like that. Okay, like in the film. Okay, but then everyone was so emotional what they saw there, and they said, and then we told ourselves that's he has to play there. And thanks to him, then we got all the funding. So he played his part, and now he's getting also a lot of offers from different from other producers to play also in films. So
So now he is starting a career in acting?
we started,
Your
yeah,
dad?
yeah, like why not?
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah. But for me, it was really some sort of therapy as well. Because now my relationship to him is much better, much stronger. Because I think now he understands what I do as well. Because my whole family, they're all doctors and pharmacists. Because he's also pharmacist, like in the film. Okay, in real life, and I'm the only artist from the whole family who decided not to go like some sort of traditional route or something like that. But since he
Mhm.
saw how we work and how the film is successful and that I can make a living from that, now
Yes.
he understands much better and the relationship is much stronger. So I'm really happy
Wow,
that it
that's
worked like that.
yeah, I'm happy to hear that too. That is
Hmm.
actually give a way for both of you to communicate your
Hmm.
worlds, even
Yeah.
though, like you said, you both are coming from a different world, and now
Yeah.
apparently your dad is starting a career in
But not only that,
in film acting.
but actually since he acted in that, he became an artist as well.
Uh-huh.
So he does like
Really?
art, yeah, and very good. He does very good art. So he does
Wow.
he collects cigarette butts, like people who like the
A
cigarettes.
cigarette butts, yeah.
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 Okay. So he goes on the streets, he collects them, and he makes art out of it.
Out of the cigarette butts.
Yeah, and it's very nice and it's very original. It has a very strong message and so on. And I know it's getting shown like all over the place, and you might even be in the Guinness Book of Records of the biggest art piece with cigarette butts. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so, so I think because man never knew that I would have like someone creative in my family, because maybe he had this all his life, but then suddenly now when he turned like 70, he decided to become an artist, and it works.
Yeah.
So maybe
Okay,
that's
I
where I got
agree.
that's where I got the artist, the art from him, like the
Side.
artist fate. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Well, he just a little bit too late in realizing it, but it's
yeah,
good that it's all worked out until
yeah,
now.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then, what was the biggest challenge then in making this film?
Whew, because yeah, the biggest challenge, yeah, because it took me a very long time to make it. Okay, like especially in writing,
Mm.
because I wrote
How
like
long was it?
it was like maybe 4 years of writing,
Ah,
because
4 years of
yeah,
writing only.
yeah, yeah, and because the thing is, I'm pretty sure you know that to write comedy is very hard. Okay, especially comedy that can travel, okay, or with different languages and different cultures and so on. And
True.
because the basic idea of the film was a bit more darker, a bit more dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then over the time, like because I wrote like maybe over 40 different versions of the script. Okay, and
40. Wow.
yeah, okay, and I was never like, yeah, like for me, I was never really satisfied until I took like some time off, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna do one more version, and then that was the one, and then I decided to stick on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it became very simple then to finance it. That's what, like then people really believed in the project because they saw it was much more honest than what I was doing before. Because all the versions I was writing, they weren't showing me as a person. Okay, and especially people who fund us, who give us money for films. They know my previous
Mm-hmm.
films. They know me also, like how I am as a person. And when they read the final version of the script, they really saw, wow, this guy. Okay, we see him. Like he's now honest to himself, dreams to himself,
Mm-hmm.
and they all liked it. And then we got the funding quite easily after that.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
also, Samir, Karim Kasim, who's playing
Mm-hmm.
Samir, is
Mm-hmm.
he like also your first choice for the act,
Uh,
or does he also have to go through the audition that you mentioned for your dad before?
yeah, like actually, I had another actor for the film, like because in Egypt we have very big film industry. Okay, it's like the Hollywood of the Middle
Mm.
East, Egypt. Like they have a very strong film industry, and I had actually a very
Mm-hmm.
famous actor who was meant to play that part. And then a few weeks before we started shooting, I got into a fight with him somehow. Like he wasn't like I don't know, like we didn't get along. And then I told myself, no, I cannot bring that actor, bring him to Europe, and to bring all his ego and so on, and he's gonna make our life hell over here. And I told him very clearly, very nicely, I'm sorry, but yeah, I think we're gonna stop it here. And then suddenly, while I was in Egypt, I decided then to search for other actors, and through some connections, I was able then to meet like some of the top actors we have in Egypt, like really lots of stars. So they came one after the
Mm.
other. I saw him, including Karim, because he's quite famous in Egypt. And
Ah.
and as soon as he came into the room and he started starting having discussion, I really felt that this guy, I knew him since forever. Like if we were best friends, if we grew up together, like. Then I told him we still have to audition you and so on. And he went
Yeah.
through I think 2 or 3 auditions
Mm-hmm.
until at the end I told myself it's him. Like yes, so like it's gonna be him, and I was very happy that he came on board. And since then we became like very good friends and so on. Because once he was there, then I started then building all my cast around him because I wanted to see the chemistry. Between the actors, and then the process was quite fast after that.
So that's interesting. So you choose the Karim first to play the role of Samir, and then after
Hmm.
that you assemble all the team to fit with him.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
okay. And I was very lucky
Yes.
because my whole casting, like most of the actors, actually very famous in Europe as well, and the Egyptian actors are also famous in Egypt. Okay, that's also really cool. because through Karim I was able then to get other people, like his best friend Mahmoud. He's a top actor in Egypt. He's even more famous than Karim. And his girlfriend Sarah Abdelrahman, she's the most famous of all. Like she's a superstar. Okay, and,
okay. Oh, the girlfriend. Oh, what's
yeah, the girlfriend. Yes,
Amal.
the girlfriend. Yeah, Amal. Yes. And also like the European cast as well. Like it was also some actors. I was dreaming to work with them. Okay, like going from Zepp to Ramsey, and those were all actors that I admire a lot.
Yeah.
And when they read the script, they loved it so much. They said that I'm so crazy to write something like that, and they said, okay, I'm gonna come on board, even for free, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's they want to do it for free. Wow.
yeah. Okay. And since then we became really good friends. So like with all the cast, we're talking almost every day together. Like we have a WhatsApp group. Everyone sends up updates, and they're always happy when they see the film somewhere at a festival or wherever they see it. They're so happy that coming from a small country like Luxembourg, it's something really big to be shown outside. Like because we're too small and it's very hard. But we cannot complain so far with this film. It was a great adventure.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I think when I think I can understand why they will work for your film for free, because it shows very an honest work of, especially when Samir met all the people, the native from the European, and that's basically like the reaction. It's basically what the people I best see if they met me, for example. They were just gonna be, oh.
Of course. That's why
not white people, brown people.
Yeah. No, that's why I insisted to have it as genuine as possible. Like, and Karimi was just like perfect. Like, and now, actually, small scoop, we're gonna continue with the same actors. We're writing right now a series on it. Yeah, so we just got funding for it. So the story continues basically, but in a series form, like a TV series.
So it's a TV series from Sawah, basically.
Yeah.
So it follows the life of Samir when he arrived in Europe, or
it continues, but the other characters, we go a bit more with the other characters this time.
I see. Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah, I would also like to see what happened with his friend Mahmoud. So,
so we have some really good stuff. So all the casting will be there again, and so on. So it's going to be really fun.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And how was the receptance of the people? Have you screened it in Egypt? I mean, for Sawah and also in Luxembourg.
It went all over the world. Like, it went to over 70 festivals all over the world. In Egypt, it was it wasn't screened in cinemas because that was a small problem that we had. Because my film is not Egyptian, it's a European film. And in Egypt, they have like a quota, how many films, because they want to push their own industry. So there's like 70% local films and 30% foreign films. And because
70%, wow.
Yeah, so the 30% there. So for me, with my film, it's hard to fight against like the big Hollywood productions, for example, because those are the ones who bring the most income. And for me, I didn't know somewhere. I didn't know where to fit it. So it was screened in we sold it to TV over there and to Netflix as well. And it was very, very successful. Like lots of people have seen it, and the reception was just crazy. Like. So for it was really eye-opening, because for me I was a bit scared as well, because I had always an issue that the people, they wouldn't understand my humor, or they would maybe feel that I make fun of Arabs or whatever. But reception it was just amazing. Like so many people could relate to it, and I was getting so many messages on Instagram or on Facebook, and people there said, "Wow, it's so amazing!" Like, I was so happy and grateful that I could get that opportunity.
Yes, because sometimes, like I earlier said, that it's sometimes hard to mix comedy with religion. It's a risky formula. Here in Indonesia, we had a kind of demonstration when Charlie Hebdo portraying all the the cartoon, and then also, but how do you see this issue for yourself, and how do you manage to dodge the bullet basically with Sawah?
Yeah, because because for me, I was lucky that I grew up in a very multicultural, multi-religious like upbringing. Okay, because for us, for us, we learn really here, like in education at school, like that to respect others and so on, and for me, with my films, like I don't want to offend anyone. Okay, I try to like always to tell stories. That's for me the most important one. But if because sometimes we can make fun of religion, okay, in a very subtle way, okay, without offending anyone. And I'm in a good position because I know where the limits are and how far I can go. Okay,
Yeah.
and I know sometimes like there's lots of people that don't understand how I don't know, because for me I don't like with what Charlie Hebdo, for example. Okay, I'm not a big fan of it. Okay, because really okay, not because they offend Muslims or Christians or Jewish people or blacks, white, whatever. It's just like I don't. It's not something that's how can I say it? Because actually that newspaper, for example, not many people read it. Okay, so it's okay, not many people read it. So it's just like a small minority who like that type of humor or okay, and and what they did, it was also it's not very respectful, okay, towards many communities. Okay, not only towards Muslims, as I said, like because they've been doing this for the past 40 years or something. Okay, and they've been offending everyone because and using freedom of speech or whatever to protect them. Okay, but if you speak to most French people, for example, they don't like it. They're not even interested in it. Okay, okay, and of course sometimes people they feel offended and
Yeah.
and so there's always been this discussion and because here in Luxembourg as well, like there's also some subjects that you cannot touch, like okay, because it's a very conservative conservative country in a way.
Yes.
Okay, so there are things where we are just like we know how far we can go. Okay, when you make fun of it. So and I grew up in that so that's why like I feel lucky that I could understand let's say the Muslim culture and the European type of culture. Okay? Okay, so I'm somewhere in between.
Yes, and
because I mean, like for me, as I said, like we can always make fun of everything. Okay, like in every religion, for example, there's always things that are funny. Okay, like really, if you watch Arabic films, for example, like coming from Egypt or or from the Gulf, like they make so much fun also about religion. Okay, about situations.
yeah.
Okay, like three situations where they like I find it so funny, but that humor is really typical for there. Like it doesn't work. Like not everywhere would understand it. Okay. But they know how to tell it in a way that everyone is happy and no one is getting offended. Because I don't know if on your side, for example, I don't know in Indonesia, like do you have also during Ramadan, do you have TV series? A lot of TV series or not?
Yes, we do,
Okay.
especially during Ramadan. Yeah.
Yeah, because all over the Middle East, that's something. It's the highlight of the year. There's so much over there, and there they make also a lot of fun on religion as well. Okay, okay, some series are very very funny, but they know how far they can go.
Okay.
Because for me, like also
Yes.
as a person,
And
as a filmmaker, I don't want to change the world. I don't care. Like really, I just want to tell my stories. Okay, and if someone can get something out of it and they can change someone's vision on something and maybe they create a discussion, I'm happy. But I'm not really into politics or religion. Like it's not something that's really that I feel that it's my duty to to talk too much about it.
yes, yes, and I mean, I think we can also see in Sawah. I mean, we understand that immigration and Muslim has become, especially terrorism caused by Muslim, has become such a huge topic in Europe. In European film industry, we have seen a lot of European films who capture this kind of issues, and but by watching Sawah, I mean, for me personally, I get like a new perspective of, oh yes, there is this kind of stereotyping of
Mm-hmm.
Muslim or Arabic in Europe, but
Mm-hmm.
also you have the balls to basically to like put it in your face,
Mm-hmm.
especially when, yeah, like what you said, when he crossed and then the interrogation started with the, well, with the passport, whether it's real or not.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so have you all? I mean, you basically already answered this question, this next question. Like, have you received this kind of stereotyping? But what I would like to ask is, when you do your work as a filmmaker, do you also find this kind of stereotyping in the industry?
Yeah, a lot,
And
of course.
is there any tip? Or, yeah, please.
Of course, a lot. Like okay, a lot, because stereotyping is something that we have to deal with it every day. Okay, on so many levels. Okay, behind the camera and in front of the camera. Like I have to fight twice as hard than someone else in Europe. Okay,
Mm.
because of my upbringing and so on. Okay, but thing is, like I started to live with it, and that's why I make fun of it. That's why, like, I know how to turn it around, and that to make like people when they have stereotypes against someone, they would see it in another way. Or, for example, a small anecdote, like the actor who's playing in Sawah, Ramzi, the guy in the bus.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, he's a very famous Belgian Moroccan actor. Okay. And he had the opportunity a few years ago. There's Brian De Palma. I don't know if you know Brian De Palma, the very
Yeah.
famous
The
American
director.
director.
Yeah.
He offered
Mm-hmm.
him the main part of his next film. Okay, and it was about the terrorists from Brussels who went to Paris to do all that stuff like a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he told Brian De Palma very clearly, "Thank you very much. Okay, I'm not doing this." Okay, and like it was really so risky because to say no to a big director like that. Okay,
Yes.
and this actor, he could have, like, his whole career could have been broken. Like he would have never been able to work in the industry again, because he said, I don't want to portray, okay, some stupid people, okay, who take his religion as a reason to make what they do. And and then I was lucky because he decided then to say no to Brian De Palma and to play in my film instead. Okay, and I was very happy because he had the balls to say no. Okay, I'm not
Yes.
portraying. I'm not
Yes.
portraying that. I'm really condemn. I'm not those people. Okay, because here they put everyone in buckets. Everyone's the same and whatever. And so he had really the courage to do that, and he decides very, very clearly what sort of roles he takes. Like, yeah. And Karim is the
Yeah.
same. Like Karim, he also got so many offers, also from Hollywood, to play also terrorists and so on.
Mm-hmm.
He played one, okay, but he said that's going to be the very, very last time that I would do it. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and he was so happy to play in my film because he saw like my message and that I really want to break stereotypes and to portray people differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And also, and you also earlier mentioned that there are limitations that you wouldn't cross when you put a comedy or humor into a film.
mhm.
And what kind of limitation, if we may know, what kind of limitation that you set for yourself? And then also, what is the best way to deliver humor, especially in delivering such stories like this?
Yeah, because for me, I like humor. That's a situation. That's from a situation. Okay, and then everything else it's at second, like it comes later on. And for me, as I told you before, like because I grew up in an upbringing that was very mixed.
It's very
So
open
okay, very
mix, yeah.
open, and to really understand how to respect other people. Okay, that's why like it's not in my DNA, let's say it like that, to offend people. It's not something that I would like to do. Or
Yes.
okay, as I said, like because my next film it will also have some religion in it, okay, but in a very funny way as well, like some okay, and people like I'm pretty sure that people who watch it maybe at the beginning when they read the synopsis they might be very critical about it, but when they're gonna watch the film they're gonna
Yes.
have a different view. And things like that, it happens not only with religion, because I had, for example, with my first feature film that I did like almost 10 years ago, I was
Oh, the
criticizing,
notorious guy.
yeah, it's a comedy, it's a French comedy that I did here, and I was criticizing the school system. for example. Okay, on paper. Okay, like on paper, like I was re-criticizing it, and then when people they saw the film, they had a lot of fun because they saw there was so much truth in it, what I was telling. Okay, and actually, thanks to my action as a filmmaker, I was able to change a few things in the show, in the school system here, for example. Okay, so because I remember I once had I've just shown the trailer in front of teachers. Some teachers they went out of the room because they said, you're going against us. We work hard as teachers for our students, and we try to be a model, a role model, and so on. And you break everything, and you're not grateful. And I told them, watch the film, please. Okay, before criticizing, and then let's discuss. And now the film they show it in all over the schools in Luxembourg.
Really?
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So my goal is done. So if my work can bring people to think, why not? So like I don't need more than that. Like,
yes. And since you managed to put that film actually to be watched in every school in Luxembourg, so what do you think is the best way to deliver human rights stories into the movie?
Human rights, yeah, because human rights it's a very wide topic. So there's many different things about human rights. Okay, and for me, really, what fascinates me is really with stereotypes. Okay, because how to play with stereotypes and how to break them. Okay, because like for example in Europe, because of all the refugees that came from the Middle East or from Africa over the past years, lots of people they forget where those people come from. Okay, they forget that they had a life before. Maybe they have money, they have education, they have languages.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And sometimes they have to flee their countries because they have no choice. It's either they flee or they're not alive anymore. Okay, so those are things, and I feel that to tell stories where to show people really how they are, not only as a misery all the time, what you're seeing on the news anyways, just seeing misery.
Yeah.
Why not showing their point of view, how they are as people? Okay, and to use human rights in comedy, it's, as I said, like our life is so crazy all over wherever we are. Okay, we always see things that can be funny in a way, that can be sad, okay, that can be scary, and so on. So that's the way how I see things, and using and try to be also like as how can I say it, as optimistic as possible for the future. So there will be less wars in the world and less discrimination and so on. And if you can provide one step towards it, that's it. I'm happy. No?
So you're suggesting to deliver the issue towards something that is not always depressing, but also making people laugh.
Exactly. Because laughing is the best thing in life. Like you have to like laugh. I cannot. If one day you don't laugh, like you have a miserable life. I think it's Charlie Chaplin who said that as well. Okay, it's one of the most important things really to laugh every day.
Yes.
Okay, because really I had a very okay, like even though I grew up in Luxembourg, but I know how it feels to be very poor. I know how it feels to be very rich. I know how to be like being pushed in a corner. I know how it feels like to be discriminated on so many different levels. Okay, and over time, the older I grew, the better I could analyze things and find my own direction. And I'm happy that through filmmaking I'm able to do that.
Yes, I mean I couldn't agree with you more. This is basically what our festival is all about. We are trying to deliver the human rights issue through a way that we know through films, not only sad films but also happy films like yours, which basically provide another perspective of how you see refugee and then stereotyping and also immigration and even the aspect of religion itself, being a Muslim in European countries. That's something that very well perceived in your film. So we are happy actually to screen your films in Indonesia.
I'm very happy with it.
Yes, and also, yeah, what inspires yourself actually to become a filmmaker? I mean, I know you mentioned earlier that your whole family is a family of doctor and engineer, and yes.
Like I never wanted to become a filmmaker actually. Like it was never in my
Oh,
no. Like for me, I discovered film quite late. Like I was like maybe 21, 22 years old. Before that, I was only watching
okay.
TV and then and also because I have five brothers and sisters. Sometimes I was using my
Uh-huh.
father's camera to film them and to recreate scenes from films or series where they were playing. But for me, it was never like we're just children playing. I never had it as a career or that it would be something like that. But because I always wanted to work actually in human rights, I wanted to work at an international organization like the UN or UNICEF or something
Ah.
like that. That's something that I was always interested in. And
Uh-huh.
but then when I went to university in England, I took I took I wanted to become a journalist and also to go into international relations and so on. And then I had
Mm-hmm.
one course where we had to do like a small report about an issue, like with film, to film something, like a report for TV or documentary about some subject.
Mm-hmm.
And from here, I said, okay, let's do it. And I took a camera, I went to Luxembourg, and I filmed. I did a small documentary about the people I knew and Luxembourg, how I know it. I've shown the film in front of my class, and I got the best grades. And my teacher, he loved it so much. He said, "Man, you've shown me something of Luxembourg I never heard before." Because
Wow.
because Luxembourg is so stereotyped. I don't know if you know that. Because they always say that Luxembourg is like a financial hub, and everyone's rich, and everything's so clean, everything's amazing, and so on. Okay, but that's not the case, and I didn't show that. Okay, and the people in England they saw it and they said, "Wow, it's amazing what you do. You're telling you're changing our perception of this small country."
Mm-hmm.
And my teacher himself, he was a filmmaker, and then he took me under his wing, and I started discovering a lot of old films, analyzing them, documentaries, fiction, experimental films, avant-garde, nouvelle
Wow.
vague, everything, and step by step, like my love for film just grew like that. Uh, and now I will never do something else. Like this is, I took a vow, and it's gonna be my only way. I'm gonna go.
Did did your teacher know that you own a film production company at this moment?
Yeah, like he was actually very proud. But the problem is he passed away a few years ago, just before
Oh, I'm
because
so sorry.
I dedicate my film to him, and because I pitched him that story actually 10 years ago or even longer when I graduated at university. He asked me at the graduation ceremony, what are you going to do? Do you have any story that you want to tell in film? And I told him I want to tell a
Uh-huh.
story about how a guy he arrives in Luxembourg by mistake. And then he told me for this story it's gonna take you 10 years to make. And it took me exactly 10 years on the day, like on the first day of shooting, when we started shooting on the 5th of February 2018. On the 5th of February 2008, that's the date where I received my diploma, the university diploma, like a degree. Where the teacher he asked me, like my
Oh,
tutor, he asked
wow.
me that. So it was so crazy. That was so right that it took exactly 10 years.
Wow, so he can actually predict the future.
Yeah, like it's yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
so awesome.
Mm. So I was so
So,
blessed with
yes.
this film on so many levels. Like there's so many things. I had so many ups and downs, but I'm so grateful in a way that it opened so many doors. I've been able to screen it all over the world. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram. The film was just released in America in 5,000 Walmarts all over America.
Cool.
Okay,
Oh, great.
we sold it
Congratulations.
to
Yes.
and we sold it to Netflix here in Europe and the Middle East. It's the first film from Luxembourg to be on Netflix as well. And since then, I'm getting so many projects. It's much easier to make my projects, and so I'm super happy.
So it's opening more of doors
Yeah,
to your autodidactic
yeah.
filmmaking. Yes. Okay. Now we
Hmm.
have questions from the audience.
Yeah.
Hi, Adolf. There's the next question
What is
is
your
what
team?
is your team writing process? Yes, especially for Sawah.
Yeah, like to write. How can I say it? As I said, like I had a basic idea, but I had always but for me the biggest problem was the tone. I didn't know what sort of tone I should take. Okay, and the
Hmm.
approach. Okay, because at the beginning it was more dramatic story that I wanted to tell. Okay, and then over time, for me also as a person, you get more mature and you see some more things, you learn more things, you read more things, you travel more, and so on. And that inspired me really a lot in the writing process. Because if I go back to the from the first version of the script to version 40, you would see there's like a story in itself. Like okay, it becomes one day it becomes very dramatic, it becomes
Uh-huh.
too funny, too controversial, too crazy. Okay, and those were actually it was part of my mood at that time. Let's say it like that. Okay, so during that time, like because it took such a long time and it was super frustrating sometimes because I was never getting somewhere. So then you saw it on paper that it was became then very dark in a way that I put all my frustration on
Hmm.
paper. But then with my co-writer Dennis Foon in Canada, he was always able
Mm-hmm.
to readapt me to put me in the right path in a way. Okay, so he was always asking me
Mm-hmm.
questions, and using those questions, I was able to find my way how I'm going to tell the story or the scene, like in specific scenes, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What is the main goal of that scene, for example? What are the emotions in it? Okay, or like why is the scene important or not? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, and so on. So so that was a process that was a like it was quite long to work like that.
Yeah. You said it
But
was 4 years to writing.
yes, yes, that's why. That's why it was very hard to
Mm-hmm.
arrive there where we arrived. But really to collaborate with a co-writer, it opened my mind on many
Mm-hmm.
levels as well. Okay, so I was less stubborn because I can be very stubborn sometimes. But
Yeah.
he opened my mind and also to see his point of view of things because the good thing with my co-writer Dennis, he has like over 40 years of experience in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
He's Canadian, okay, and it's really interesting to see his point of view on the story because he'd never heard of Luxembourg before. Okay, like he
Mm-hmm.
also has all those stereotypes on Luxembourg. Okay, and then when we brought him here to the country, he came here and he was so surprised what he saw. It was completely different from what he knew about, and that also
Mm-hmm.
helped him to understand the whole subject much better. And
I see.
now, yeah, so that's the way how we work, and so we wrote also the new series that way as well, and
Uh-huh.
also my
Oh, with him.
next you with him as well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and also my next feature film that I'm shooting this coming summer. So he also co-wrote it with me, and we find like really we understand each other in a very good way. But it took some time, like because we've been working for such a long time, so we became real friends, and we understand each other in a much better way. I'm learning so much from him; he's learning so much from me. Okay, and then we try to
Mm-hmm.
put it then on paper in a way that there's no too much ego or something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Okay.
mhm.
Yes. And there's also another question. What is the meaning of Sawah?
In Arabic, yes, it's very interesting because it's in Arabic it means the traveler, someone who travels or tourist or
Oh, so it's traveler?
yeah, it's a traveler or someone who is lost as well. Because the Arabic
Mm-hmm.
language is very poetic, like it has so many like words have so many different meanings.
Yeah.
And there's one of the most famous Egyptian songs. It's called Sawah. Yeah, it's a song from the
Ah,
1950s,
yes,
and
I know it. Yeah. It's
and
very
the song
beautiful song, actually.
the lyrics are so beautiful. It tells a story about someone who's dreaming to
Yes.
travel and to find his love somewhere else and so on.
Yeah,
But
in the Lost Love.
yeah,
Yes.
and at the same time, he's attached to his own ways from. So he doesn't want to go from ways from. So he really doesn't want to lose that. So the song really resonates on
Yeah.
so many different levels, all over the Arab world, through so many different generations as well. And I wanted to have actually the rights to the real song, but I couldn't get it because I want to have the real song in the film. But to buy
Yeah,
the
there was not.
rights,
Yeah.
like it was the budget of the
That's
movie
why there's
basically.
no that song.
Like because I wanted to have the
Right.
song, but it was the budget of the whole film if you wanted to get the rights because
Seriously?
yeah, so
To buy one song? It's
to buy
like
one song,
get the whole budget?
yeah.
Oh my God.
So I had to be a bit creative and create a new song, and then I added then the storyline according to the song in different way.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
So
but that's a very beautiful song.
yeah,
No wonder the price is crazy.
yeah. Mhm.
So yes, and then is there any tips for Indonesian aspiring filmmakers, especially in terms of bringing humor and putting humor into your films?
Mhm.
Who, yes, for Indonesian aspiring filmmaker, can you give us some tips
Like
besides
I f
being having a balls to create the
Yeah,
story?
but for me now we live in a very maybe a bit like too idealistic or something like that. But today it's
Mm.
very easy to make films. Like really, everyone has a smartphone in his pocket. You can shoot, you can edit, you can distribute it using your smartphone. Okay, it's a story that counts. Okay, it's really like it's not the technology, it's a story. Okay,
Yes.
and if you find the right ideas and you know how to tell it in a way that's very honest to yourself, someone will see it.
Hmm.
Okay, if it's not today, it's going to be tomorrow. Okay, it's going to happen. Well, like, but you have to continue because the more you do it, you do your craft, the better you get in it. Like anything in life. Like if you're a baker, okay, you want to bake bread. Okay, the first time you do it, it will not work. But then if you start, you try again, you add more wheat or more flour or whatever, it becomes something different. Then you become then a master baker. So it's just a matter of like just doing and doing and doing. Okay, and also be proud of what you're doing. Okay, like it doesn't matter what people think. You just be proud that you finished, that you were able to do it. That's the most important. Because the more you do it, the better you get into it. The more people will see it, the more opportunities you will get. Okay, and then the rest is history. So and now really
Yes.
new generations like they have really all this in front of them. It's quite easy. It's just the story that counts and to be original the way how you tell it. Okay, okay,
Yes. So then being
and
stubborn will help.
yeah, exactly. And especially in Indonesia, like you're such a big country, like there's so many stories to tell.
Yeah.
And I've watched a lot of Indonesian films as well from young filmmakers. I was a few times in juries in film festivals.
Oh,
And we
what
gave a
film you
prize.
watch? What
I can't
Indonesian film
remember.
you watch?
Yeah, there was a very nice short film. I can't remember the film. It was last year. I saw it in a festival in Belgium, and we gave it the main prize as well. And the
Ah,
film was so simple, very easy, very poetic, not much dialogues, but very strong story. Okay, and the images they were so strong that I told myself, okay, like you don't need much. Okay, okay, and that's filmmaker. Like the more you do, the better you get, and okay, and then anyone will ever see it. So like, and also something very important for young filmmakers, it's always good to accept criticism. Okay, don't take it personally.
yes, I
Okay,
agree.
okay, like
Yes, I agree with that.
because criticism will just help you to be better. Okay, and to make things in a way that will bring you forward. Okay,
Yes, that's true.
mhm. And
So yes,
mhm.
yes, and for your next film that you are
Mhm.
going to shoot in next year's summers,
Yeah.
may we know the title, or is it going to be a sequel of Sawah?
It's not a sequel, but it has a very similar tone, but a bit,
Ah,
but less funny. It will be funny. It will have some very funny situations, but
mm-hmm.
it's also about my own life as well. Like it has a lot of myself in there. Yeah, but this time the story is set in the 1990s because when I was in high school here, I got kicked out of school because I didn't have good grades and I was hanging around with the wrong people. Like yeah, so I had a very turbulent youth. And but my dream was always to make it big in America, to go to America and to get the
Mm-hmm.
American dream, like to reach it, like really, because my uncle, I have an uncle in the U.S. who became very rich and famous, and I saw him as an
Mm-hmm.
example. I wanted to go to him, and I went to America as well. And but then I figured out that in America it's not as nice as it shows everywhere. Like I saw it
Yeah,
in the
in the
really,
postcard
yeah, exactly.
or or
And
television series.
yeah, yeah. So I'm telling a story about that, like about this kid who's dreaming about the American dream. He goes to his family there, and he figures out that it was a mistake. And then there's a very turbulent thing that happened to him, and then there's a very nice twist in it on many levels. And,
Wow, that
yeah,
sounds like a good logline and good premise, actually.
yeah. So, so,
Yeah.
mhm.
So
So I'm
yes,
busy.
Adolf, thank you so much.
No, no worries.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so
Mhm.
much for
Mhm.
spending your Friday afternoon. It's still afternoon, right, in
Yeah.
Luxembourg with
Yes,
us,
luckily, yeah.
and for
No problem at all.
and and good luck with your
Mhm.
next project.
Yeah, thank you
We
very much.
are looking forward to watch it, and then
Hmm.
also stay safe and stay
Thank
sane.
you.
And yeah, thank you so much for the tips. I think you have captured. I agree with you that basically the best stories that one should do is from their own personal life
Hmm.
because they know the stories
They
very
know.
well and it's coming from your heart. So you
Yeah.
will make a good film if it's you
Hmm.
honest to your work.
Hmm. Yeah, that's how it is.
Thank you so much,
Super.
Adolf.
No,
And
welcome. No.
yes, thank you. And
Hmm.
have a good weekend. Stay safe.
Thank you
And
very
yeah, stay
much.
sane and
Hmm.
stay smiling.
Yeah, don't worry. Cool.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
cheers. Bye bye.
Bye bye. So yes, everyone, that was our fun chat with Adolf El Assal, the director of the movie Sawah that's screened right now in 100% Manusia Film Festival at festivalscope.com. The film is still available to be watched until Sunday. So if you haven't watched the film, book it now as we are still having, what day is today? Friday. 2.5 more days to watch the film. And if you have other questions that you want to ask regarding our films, you can also directly send your message to our social media account in Instagram or in Twitter, Facebook, and also in our YouTube account. And as for other fringe events that you may have missed, in the past, since we just closed the festival yesterday, you can watch it in our YouTube account, 100%, 100% Manusia. So yes, the festival is closed yesterday, but the film screening is still done until Sunday. And tomorrow we will have a limited viewing of our new art, our favorite artist, a new artist, inspired emerging artist Leka Putra tomorrow from 1 p.m. until 3. If you want to, you can directly contact us at our Instagram if you want to visit so that we can arrange the appointment to see his work at his exhibition as his solo at Leka Putra Solo's exhibition Through the Window tomorrow at the Kekini from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. It's a very limited viewing and very limited people who can watch. So please please register first. So yes, thank you so much for watching this Instagram live with me. I am Meninaputri Wismurti, the head of film program of 100% Manusia Film Festival, signing off. And I wish you guys a nice Friday night, TGIF. But please stay safe and stay sane. Ciao, ciao. See you later.